Hello friends, this video on Principles of Inheritance Part 18 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Now based on this experiment on dihybrid cross, Mendel came up with another principle, that is the principle of independent assortment. So what is the meaning of independent assortment? That means here we consider two traits, right? So he saw that the two traits were actually segregating, their alleles were segregating during gamete formation independent of each other. So the two traits were not dependent on each other. So as per this principle, during gamete formation, segregation of alleles of one pair is independent of the segregation of alleles of the other pair in a dihybrid cross. So when we talk about a dihybrid cross, we consider two traits. So we generally have something like this. So this one pair represent one trait, again this pair represent another trait. So it means to say that this segregates during gamete formation, again this separates out during gamete formation, but then the way this separates out and the way this separates out, they do not depend on each other, and that is why it is called independent assortment. Now when they segregate, they form things like this. So R combines with Y, again R combines with small y. Then small r combines with I, while small r combines with small y as well. So that is the principle of independent assortment. So let us look at some example. The first example we'll look at it is the gamete formation in the parental generation. So what was the parental generation? So the parental generation was homozygous round and yellow seeds and homozygous wrinkled and green seeds, right? So this was wrinkled and green seeds. So this was round and yellow, and the other one was wrinkled and green, right? So let us see how the gamete formation occurred here. So what are the possible gametes? So this is one trait, this is another trait, correct? So this is trait 1. So this trait 1's alleles will segregate each other. So what are the possible alleles here? Only capital R. That is the only possible allele here. Again here also, since both the alleles are same, so the only allele that can come out of it is capital Y. Correct? So the gamete that can form from here is RY. So RY is the only gamete that can be formed. Correct? Similarly here, this is one trait, this is another trait. So this trait can contribute the allele R, this trait can contribute allele Y. So these two can combine to form RY, which is the gamete here. So please remember that in case of a dihybrid cross, since you are considering two traits, so your gamete should also have one representative of each trait. So for example here, R is representative of the seed shape, Y is representative of the seed color. So both the traits need to be represented in the gamete. So let us look at another example, that is the gamete formation in the F1 generation. So what was obtained in the F1 generation in Mendel's experiment? The F1 generation was heterozygous round and yellow seeds. So this is how it looked like. So what were the this is one trait, this represented one trait, this represented the second trait. So the first trait can give, there are two alleles here, capital R and small r. So these alleles will segregate. Similarly here also these two alleles can segregate, correct? So now these alleles will combine for gamete formation. So again, the gamete should have one representative of each trait. So now this allele can combine with this allele can also combine with this. Similarly, this allele can combine with this can also combine with this. So basically the gametes which we get are going to be these four gametes. So if you see, each of these gametes have one representative of each trait, but at the same time if you see, for this particular trait the allele segregated, for this particular trait also the allele segregated, and they were not dependent on each other. Now when do we say that they are dependent on each other? If there is a rule like capital R will only combine with capital Y. So in that case we cannot say that they are independently assorting, because right now they are all getting independently segregated and then all the possible combinations are being made. For example, R can combine with this, R can combine with this, small r can combine with this. So we are actually considering all possible combinations. That's because these gametes are independently assorting. So here if you see, each of these gametes has a possibility of 25% each. All of them have equal probability. So the probability formation of each of these gametes is 25%. So this is how gamete formation occurred in dihybrid cross, and based on this Mendel gave principle of independent assortment. So in total, Mendelian inheritance has three important rules: law of dominance, then the law of segregation, and the law of independent assortment. So these were the three laws which were given by Mendel. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.